Welcome everyone. Welcome for another World Cup game of round one. We are going to have Wales Phoenix player Chupak Ebra playing against Australian Lion player Spiral. I will go really quickly through the deck list, which I need to open by the way. Totally forgot about that. So on one side, the Phoenix players on Kudenizawa, Province Row seems pretty regular. It on Dragon Splash for free Ancient Master on field Lead Coast, restricted cards being Taraka, I guess. Yeah, it's Taraka. In the Dynasty side, we see nothing too surprising. We have two Depths of the Waves that have been kept. The Prodigy also. Two Ancestral Shrine. It's interesting. I guess it's Scorpion. Scorpion deck, or you might try to get to another if you're not too far. And we see three Kudeka, which we do not always see. On the conflict side, we have free Banzai, free Censure, so there will be a lot of punches and free consoles. Favor is going to be a thing. 2 Path of Mana for resources and only 1 consume. For the Lion deck, we have Yoshinoshiro Stronghold, Province Row on Seeker of Air. Yeah, the Province Row seems pretty classic. Interesting that it is a Seeker of Air rule. Splash Bean Crane for 3 Noble Sacrifice and 2 Soul Beyond Reaper. So Phoenix will have to take care of the sacks. 2 Strike Renjutsu as attachments, so that will be few let go targets for the Phoenix. And then we have a lot of conflict characters. 2 Legion, 3 Banzai, so no consoles for the Lion. Free Charge being the restricted card, free of 1 fall in battle, so that will also be something to watch for. 3-4 shame, so we will have Dishonor on both from the 4 shame, so that's good. Phoenix will probably have to go rather than Dishonor on that one, given the risk of the sacks. And on Dynasty side, we have Armament Artisans for honoring characters trying to slot the Noble side, that's good. 1 Little Sunry, 2 Iketas, Classic Sprite Border and Spirit Caller. 2 Students of War and 1 Mitsuko, that's interesting. Mitsuko is a card we don't see often. 3 Tsuko, yeah, okay, why not? I don't think it has a conflict side that is really beneficial for Tsuko, but for which Tsuko is really beneficial, but why not? 3 Totsuri and 3 Uchiyaki. So favor is definitely going to be a thing in that game. And if players are ready, you can go. Sorry for the short wait. I'm just gonna move that away because it's annoying. So I'm sorry, I'm just out of bed, so I might have a bit croaky voice. So Phoenix first player, I think you're happy about that as a Phoenix. Like you can get if you can play such that you get passing fate first turn, and because it's Yoshinoshiro, there will likely be 1 or 2 fate on the rings on turn 2. So you might even get a fate from the rings on turn 2. So you're likely either evening out the fate bonus there, or you might have more than the Lion. Also, it allows you to, well, small advantage that Lion has here is that he's going to be, he's not going to be able to play a bit more reactively, which, given the deck, is possible. Okay, what do we see? Oh, there's a Kanjo for Phoenix. That's if he can snipe the favor first turn, that's really good. That might not be totally easy, but that's really good. If he has a display of power, that could be fine. What you might do then is just playing like Yeah, oh, free fate Kudaka, so no display of power turn 1 for Phoenix, unless Lion hits a Void Province. Because Phoenix is gonna pass first. What do you play as Lion here? Like Pride Brawler, and you try to bow that Kudaka first conflict, so that Phoenix has to play against the wave, so clarity of purpose. You can't really go political now because Phoenix is just going to defend and play clarity on Kudaka, and she wants bow during political, so you need to go military. And Phoenix will have to spend his lone fate on against the waves if he wants to attack or defend both conflicts. I think that's pretty good for Lion as a start. He's playing a Prodigy to get 1 honor. Okay. Library is going to do some work for Phoenix here. Definitely, if he can protect it, it's good. Okay, Lion bidding 1 immediately, so he's at 17 honor. And that's not 25, but that's already something Phoenix will have to watch it for. Especially if Lion can get an airing free that first turn. Means he's going to be at like 19 or 20, and then everything becomes threatening because there is a lot of effects in the Lion decks that are going to handle him honor. There is sacrifices, soul beyond reproach. Well, sacrifices don't give you an honor, but you get immediately the honor from the character sacrificed, so that it actually forbids Phoenix to have a dishonored character when Lion is at 23 or 24, because he could just like straight lose the game because of this. And then you have, yeah, the Armament Artisan, you have the Prodigies. So yeah, Lion definitely is in an already threatening position. And Phoenix board this turn is not good enough. Because you're gonna have to choose between defending both conflicts or using a display of power if Lion hits a Void Province. But if Lion hits a Void Province and you use display, it means you don't defend, so you'd probably get a break out of that. Only 5 cards though, so you might also try to just defend and prevent breaks. Spirit Call of Lion is going to be pretty much useless, which is good for now. Like Lion could have played the Pride Brawler with no fate, then next turn you play a Spirit Caller with more fate and Phoenix obviously passing the first conflict there. That's the only reasonable choice you can do. Lion is very likely, if I recall correctly, on Shameful Display. Yeah. So you really don't want to hit the Shameful with that Kuleka, because I think like if Lion has Noble Sack, it's Prodigy Sack to kill the Kuleka and you lose straight the game here. Lion has to go. I think Lion has to go military here just so that Kudaka cannot be clarityed. Oh, shameful for Phoenix. That's bad for Lion. Conjure on shameful. That's pretty sick. Okay, that's quite a good flop for Phoenix. Usually you might not want to keep the conjure turn 1 depending on where it flops, but like if it flops on a shameful display, then you have like literally no reason not to keep it. Because just a 5 strength shameful display by itself is absolutely sick. Okay, so we see Shameful going to know this Lion Pride Brawler cannot bow the Kudaka anymore. So Lion will have to expend at least 1 or 2 cards to 1 to be able to bow Kudaka, and probably 2 to 3 to be able to probably 2 to be able to break that. So maybe only 1 if he uses the Stronghold. Yeah, Banzai plus Stronghold breaks there because of the bow. So as Phoenix, you are happy if you have against the waves or if you have your own Banzai, because you have 3 in the deck and you drew like 10 cards. It's totally possible that you have one. Yeah, there it is. Phoenix Banzai is back. So no Lion Pride Brawler is stuck again. And there is no cancel in Lion deck because he's on Seeker. And it isn't play Censure, so that's, and there is no Favorite to play yet. So I guess as Phoenix, you're pretty happy about defending that conflict. If you have an against the waves, you probably just pass your conflict stand Kudaka, defend the second conflict from Lion, and then you go into turn two with like a nice advantage, I would say. Oh, Legion of One, that's bad. That's super bad for Phoenix. Because that's +6 military strength. So there we're gonna see the Kudaka bowing. We're gonna see the shameful breaking. Even if Phoenix stands Kudaka with against the waves here, it breaks, right? So do you really? Oh no, it doesn't break. So if Phoenix has an against the waves, it's fine. You just take the bow and then you stand Kudaka. Yeah, it did go through twice. Oh yeah, he did a mistake. Yeah, he used it one too much for no effect. It's um it's a bit surprising that player World Cup came on Chigoku without having tried once or twice to get used to the interface. Like he seems really unfamiliar with it. And they're gonna fix that and put a fate on the Pride Brawler back. It's interesting there's command line to add stuff rather than going through the tiny bit clunky manual mode. So what are we going to see here? Lion is going to bow the Kudeka. Yeah, Phoenix did pass, so it's Lion actions. Just gonna bow Kudeka. Oh, really? He passes. Okay, interesting. Oh, no, he bows himself. That's going to be a complicated game. Like, yeah, seems there is a bit of struggle with the interface. So Kudeka should be bowed, Pride Brawler should be standing. Yeah, there it is. Phoenix passes. Okay, that's a tell that he doesn't have against the waves. Definitely. So that's quite unfortunate for Phoenix because oh, and the display of power got discarded. That's bad. That's really bad. Because no Lion can probably go on a second conflict with no display happening, and Lion will have the favor. And if he flips Sujiyaki next turn, then that game is going the bad way for Phoenix, unless Phoenix gets a cloud. Like no, Phoenix won't even be able to defend that second conflict, so it's one less. I think as Lion you go here, dude. Like just fire. Yeah, that also works. Sorry, you have noble sacrifice. It's just go fire. Totally forgot about that. You're gonna need to get that Kudaka neutral, then dishonored. Like, meditation, that's good. You're gonna be able to remove the prodigy from the board at the end of the turn as Phoenix, and you're gonna need it. So if Phoenix has another display of power here, that's great. I think you just play it. You lower a bit the honor count for Lion, and you get a ring so that favor is tied. And then you go into next turn with a good board compared to Lion and a small fate advantage. But if you don't have it because the lone one was hit by Hearth, then that's pretty bad. You won't have fate advantage, sorry, because you play this play. As Lion here, if you have a fan or something, do you take that break? Cold Games doesn't do it, so you need exactly an ornate fan and you don't have it in your deck, so you can't. Yeah. And you don't have Fate for Conflict character or anything, so you don't take an additional break. So that's actually good for Phoenix, because like yeah, Kudeka going back to neutral, so that's what we expected. Favor is going to go for Lion, that's big. That's 3 dead cards in Phoenix deck, like the 3 Censures are useless. And Yuji Yaki is no turn down. So if you can have it in the next flip. I think you ditched everything. You keep maybe the Armament Artisan, just for the Noble Sack effect. Like if you have a Soul Beyond Reproach, you know the Pride Brawler and the Artisan, and now you're threatening a Noble Sack with firing. But apart from that, like just get rid of the Spirit Caller, because like it's not gonna do anything now for you. Oh, he also throws away the Artisan. So that might be a tell that he has no Soul Beyond Reproach, and with a dishonored guy on his side, no. Oh, another Pride Brawl for Lion. That's super good. Like you just play that Pride Brawl immediately, especially because you're not gonna play the Spirit Caller and the Gifted Tactician after that if you have Fate left. Yeah, he plays it with 2 Fate, so maybe you just pass after that. I know Phoenix is in trouble. Like, what do you do as Phoenix? Do you play the Prodigy or do you play the Taraka? There has been a Banzai and a Legion of One. Like, that Taraka doesn't blank much events, but it's 2 very significant ones, especially with Pride Brawlers on the board. So I think I would play the Taraka, but you have 9 Fate, so that's totally possible. Also, Taraka is a huge mountain of knowledge strength, so you're pretty happy about having that. Yeah, I think you play the Taraka. You're not. You could keep it for next turn and play the Prodigy if you were in an aggressive position already, but that's not the case. Okay, you choose to go for the Prodigy. That's interesting. If he has like Court Games, Fan, and Katana, that Prodigy is going to be a huge problem for Lion. So that also makes sense actually. It's just that you're like just accepting to be in a tiny bit tough position for one more turn, and then next turn, like if Lion didn't significantly smash up Phoenix this turn, I don't know how you come back as Lion after that. Like if you take 2 break this turn and you're on the stronghold next turn, you're fine. But if you don't, next turn is like Kudaka 1 Fate, Prodigy 2 Fate, Tadaka 3 Fate, and every single storm is going to be +3, and you won't be able to play stuff, and then that's going to be really, really bad for you. I think also Phoenix playing Tadaka this turn might not be too good because if Lion takes the Earth Ring with the 2 Pride Brawler, you might have problem defending it, and if you don't have a display, then Tadaka is just blank. So I think it's better to play it next turn when you're gonna be first player. So you just go Earth immediately. And you try to use this turn to capitalize on your Prodigy, like just try to honor it. Put a fan and a katana on him and just smash into provinces. There is still the problem that you don't have a chip. If you have a Shrine Maiden, that's good because I guess he has Shrine Maiden, right? He's not playing Phoenix without Shrine Maidens. No, he's not. And 3 Ancient Masters. So sorry. So you just need to play 1 to scoot because like given the fact that Lion is a noble sack and you don't have a console, you can't really afford your prodigy to get shameful, because after that, like that's just yeah. If you find shameful, Lion plays a one-cost character. Shameful, you unnoble sack, and then game over, I guess. Lion fighting upholding. Um, it's a bit unfortunate that Lion took the military favor when you have two when you don't have characters that have one military strength, because then you're necessarily breaking provinces even if you don't want to. So taking it political might have been a bit clever. Snow hits upholding. Oh, he's not breaking because of the shrine actually, so that's good. Phoenix not defending. If Lion has a yeah, that's awkward because if Lion boosts with the stronghold, then he can bow something, but it also means he breaks upholding, which you don't really want. Phoenix loses another honor for undefended though. Like if it breaks, it's fine if it doesn't break because you have the shrine. But if Lions go for the break here, then Phoenix has like 3 honor. So Lion goes for the break and he's going to bow something. So yeah, Prodigy I would say. And Phoenix is still going to be in an awkward position where you can't really attack. Maybe you bow the Kudaka just so that Phoenix really doesn't want to attack with that Prodigy if he finds the shameful. Okay, we see a display of power. That's good. That's very good. That's not the best ring you want to display, but at that specific moment, because you're at like 4 honor, you're happy to win too. And you get a ring, so that's better. So no, I think as Phoenix, you're just gonna defend the second conflict from Lion. Like just don't take risks. Charge for shame, ready for battle, strength in number. Just throw away the charge, I would say. Well, strength in numbers is also annoying, but like not as annoying as a charge. Lion did his military conflict already though during this turn, so yeah, exactly. Okay, so I was thinking about that just when he did it. You can totally yeah Kudaka triggers too. That's right. I totally forgot about that. Like it's 1 card and 1 fate additional because you got that airing. So it's actually really good to have displayed that. Um, you don't throw away the charge because Lion has played his military conflict already this turn, and you're pretty sure you're gonna have the favor if you don't mess up. So that's quite a tell that he has a Century in hand and he's not worried about the charge anymore because he's going to Century it if it happens. But the strength in numbers might mess up his turn and forbid him to have the Century. So he discards that one to ensure Century at the end of the turn. I know what do you do? Like if you have a Shrine Maiden, you're fine, you play it and you scoot. But if you don't, I think you still can't attack as Phoenix, right? Or you go with Kudeka, but like it's risky. That's pride. There is a 1 honor pride roller on the board. I mean, an honored no fate pride roller on the board. So you have already a target for the noble sacrifices, Lion. Bit surprised that Lion didn't go for firing. Actually, that might just tell that he doesn't have a noble sack. In which case, you're happy to attack as Phoenix. Situation for Phoenix there is a bit awkward regarding ring choices because you want water for the prodigy, but water does like literally nothing unless you have a Benten's touch. That could go. That could be good. Like if you have Bentens, you go water. You bow one of your shooting jets to another the other one, and then you stand in dim with the water ring at the end. But then you have to win that water ring, which I think is possible given the board state. It's actually likely. Okay, Art of War, so that's good. Avoids the shameful you didn't want it to hit. That's one thing as Phoenix know that you don't have an Embrace the Void anymore is that you have like to be super careful with your fated characters because if you hit something that allows the opponent to sack your character, then you lose a huge amount of fate because Phoenix usually tend to fade his characters heavily, and it's part of the win condition to build a heavy fated board. So if you just got a 3 fate characters that got sacked, you just it's a huge setback in your game position. Whereas when you had Embrace the Void before, like you could just drop the Embrace the Void just before the sacrifice, and you would get some of that fate back. So of course, it was bad, but it was not as bad as it is now. That's part of the power of Embrace the Void, is that it was super polyvalent. It was not only netting you fate, but it also like made really awkward for your opponent to discard your characters, because sometimes you just had to drop, like, just had to fight a bit to make it arguably interesting for your opponents, economically wise, and then once you couldn't anymore, you just dropped the Embrace the Void. That's what happened to me at Cork a lot of time when I did top four. It was like, just force your opponents to, especially against the Scorpion on day two, like, just force him to try to sack your characters, and then once he's close to it, make it expensive for him. And at the point he's going to succeed, you just drop that Embrace the Void on the character. And no, it's like, oh fuck, because he invested a lot of fate and cards into that, like sacking that huge 4-cost Prodigy on the board, and now I'm gonna get the 4 fate back because of the Embrace. And that's a line of play most Phoenix can't do anymore, because everyone goes for Tadaka rather than the Embrace the Void, which might change in the next cycle, but for now, I think that I can definitely see the argument to go for Tadaka, because that card is like stupidly broken. Like, I've played it, and you all have seen all those tournament reports where players are like, oh, I was losing and then I played Tadaka. Like, yeah, fair, okay. That's a good summary of your tournament. Lion going, sorry, yeah, Lion going Earth there with the Pride Brawlers. Prodigy being honored. Code games, so now he can't be bowed anymore. For shame to dishonor. Okay, no, he was honored with another effect. Oh yeah, it was the firing, sorry. So now he can code games to honor him back. Does Lion have another for shame in those 6 cards? Honestly, if you're Phoenix and Lion for shame again, if you have an against the waves, you just bow and you against the waves yourself. But because he didn't did it the first time, that's just probably a tell that he still didn't saw one against the waves. Way of the Lion, okay. Just cloud that Lion Pride Brawler, I would say, if you have a cloud. Because now you're at 6 against 5. Attacker, yeah, 6 military against 5, so you can bow him. You're still not taking the breakdown, which is good for Phoenix. Storm on the Prodigy, so that's just a tell that he has no cloud. Which is disappointing, because like Pride Brawler True Fate is a good cloud target. Or maybe he prefers to keep the cloud for something really, really threatening, like Uchiyaki. But I get, at that point, you just want to prevent the break as Phoenix, right? Because, okay, Earth Triggering is bad, but Lion isn't going to get the favor from that, because you have 2 rings already. Uh, True Strike, so that would be 3 against 3. We see the True Strike being let go. That's the right move, because there's only 2 True Strike in the. That's the only 2 attachments in the Lion deck. 2 True Strike. So thing is, like, why giving honor when you're at 6 if you can just like use one of your cards that would be dead otherwise anyway? That's a problem when you play only 2 attachments. Like, if there is a single attachment card in your opponent deck, you know those attachments are going to get let go, or calling in favored, or like there is no way they would be of any use. So I argue that you shouldn't play 2 copies of attachment in a deck. The only reason you would do so is because your attachment is called Mark of Shame, and you don't care about it being hated. So Phoenix win that in defense, 3 rings get favored, that's huge. No more Ujiyaki on the Lion side, and Phoenix has 3 Century that are not on. And as Phoenix now, you just play that huge Tadaka, and you're first player. So I guess you play Tadaka, go Earth. Lion has to take either Void or Water, and then you take the other one, the one that remains. Because if you take Void, it's good, you avoid the Pride Brawler, and if you take Water, it's good because you have a Prodigy. Iketa is fine for Lion. Venerable Historian is also good. Tsuko isn't. Tannery isn't. So yeah, you play Iketa or Historian or both. Phoenix side is just like smash Tadeka. I mean, no reason to play anything else at that point. The choice on the previous turn was arguably better to play the Prodigy, like depending on your hand and stuff, but this turn, and especially because you couldn't ensure that you would have the Earth Ring because of the two Pride Brawler on the board and you weren't first player. But there is literally no reason as Phoenix to play something else than Tadaka. Sure, you have only one Atsuko in your deck. Well, fine. Just leave it go away. Just play that Tadaka. That matchup isn't going to be won or lost on Natsuko. Tadaka will definitely win it. Especially because the Soul Beyond Reproach has already been played, so that's also like much more difficult for Lion to sack one of your characters if he can't use Sound Beyond Reproach. Phoenix will still be in this slightly awkward position where you actually have no small characters, and there is still a shameful display on board, but now you have censures on. So if you have a censure, you're totally fine finding the shameful. You're not at risk of the noble sack anymore. So I guess you would say as Phoenix here, you go military earth with Tadaka first conflict. Or you go earth, yeah, you go military earth Tadaka first conflict. Force Lion to commit in defense. Historian cannot defend on earth. Hikiata sucks on military defense. You don't want the Pride Brawler defending, you want him attacking. So yeah, that's definitely the good go for Phoenix. We'll see a bid one for both. Oh, okay, bid four for Lions. Lion just gives up the general condition. Try to evens out the ends, which is, I think, a good move there because he's late on board already. I think that early bid one for Lion was really detrimental. He played two turns with huge hand discrepancy, like 5 cards. He couldn't do stuff. So now he's back on cards, but the problem is he has given a lot of time to Phoenix to stabilize the board. I know his own board is like pretty cute, but not really threatening. I don't know what Phoenix is thinking about, like just smash Earth. Like, if you take a 2-Fate ring, Lion is going to take the other one, right? And they're both good in this situation, because you void Kudaka or you water back a character that defended for you. So what you do is you go military Earth. Lion is going to take one of the two Fate rings, and then you take the other one on the third conflict, because if you let Void, then you void the Brawler. And if it lets Water, then you're fine having the Water because you're going to stun your Tadaka and your Prodigy will have his trigger ability available. So that's a win-win situation for Phoenix there. Just leave the opponent the choice to make a mistake. Both cases are good for you. Just go Earth first conflict. Try to win Earth to deny any events for Lion. If you want, you don't even have to go like only with Tadaka, but I think it's safer. If Lion wants to invest cards to win that Earth ring, like you're almost in a winning position, I wouldn't go political now, because Historian is going to defend and he's going to be at 4 political. Ikiara is going to defend, and if he wins, he's going to honor something. Like, just go military. Because then Ikiara sucks in military. You have the favor in military. Historian cannot defend in military. And Pride Brawler can, but like, do you really want to defend with a Pride Brawler? That's a mistake to go political there. Yeah, he realizes that. Um, Going with the Prodigy is good because it ensures that if you hit the Shameful, Prodigy is going to go back to neutral, which means Lion isn't going to be able to Noble Sack. So it's better than going with the Teleka, I guess. That's something I didn't thought about. Also, you prefer your Teleka to be honored rather than dishonored. So, like that character has an insane ability, and the printed stats are fucking huge. Sure, having only 3 political for 5 costs isn't that good, but like I mean, even dishonored, he still has stats in both. He still has at least one in both stats, and when he's honored, it's just a freaking monster. Okay, hits meditation. That's not too bad. Prodigy is gonna lose a fate, but it's not the end of the world. You're gonna have to be careful at the end of the next turn where both characters will live together, unless Lion takes Void, and then one of those is going to leave sooner. But like, yeah, okay, it's fine. You don't really mind about that meditation right now. Like compared to the other provinces you might have found. Well, actually, one of the two other provinces is an air province, and oh, they actually might both be air, and Shameful might be under the stronghold. That's that's not a totally stupid choice, because like your opponent is going to have to fear that Shameful is in the row anyway, because you're playing double sack, and then he will go to the stronghold, hit the Shameful, and if that guy is not on board, which might not happen, then you're at risk of getting double sack on the stronghold, which helps Lion a lot to defend. Also gives Lion enough time to draw the double sack. So that's I think Shameful is under the stronghold actually. Especially all Lions have been complaining that they're liking economy. So having 2 air provinces in the row when you're a seeker of air is better for your economy. So we see Lion not defending. That's a break for Phoenix. I think that's good. You just take that break. You might play if you have a clarity. You probably might play it. Because like if you play it, then Lion has to choose to go back to Manicured Garden and give you a fate for a potential display of power, or go to the meditation and lose a fate on one of his characters when his board is already not good. So you will have to go with the Historian Political on the meditation, which you're pretty happy about if you're Phoenix. Like if he goes with the Pride Bowler, okay, he has a Vengeful Oathkeeper, so that's not so good. 4 shape discarded, that's really good for Phoenix. That's a good target card here. Discarding Tuco is also a good choice because you know that Lion has a charge, so now the only target for charge is Sanuri, and like it's not huge. Of course, if you all in, then it's good. It's not even good. Oh yeah, it's good because it's decent, we'll say, because it would be 3 bushes in the conflict with the Oathkeeper and the Pride Brawler, but it's like still not awesome. But Sanuri is much better than I expected at first. Like the card is really cute. It's the trigger is fun. It works in political. It's not like a godlike card, but it's really really fun to have. Okay, Lion for going void on meditation, so that's one of the Phoenix character that is going to leave at the end of the turn. But then Phoenix swings back water, so he stands the Prodigy and he has the trigger for Prodigy, so that's going to be a problem for Lion. Okay, covert on Kudaka. Um, Political, interesting. So Tadikata is going, yeah, Tadaka defense, but I mean, like, I'm not sure I agree with this defense unless you have storms. I think you have one in the discard that you can replay, so it's a +3 already. Maybe if you have a court games also that works, because like it will be +5. But I mean, Lion is already at 4, 5, 6, so you would have to at least match that. So Tadaka is at 5 now, so you're fine with the storm. Okay, you might want to win that ring in defense actually as Phoenix, so that you don't have a character living at the end of the turn. If you can win that ring in defense, it's really good. But Lion is going to go to 6 here, honoring the. Oh, he can't. He can't. He didn't defend it, the conflict, so he lost 1 honor. So now the historian cannot go to 4 strength. So actually defending here was totally correct. You can't. You can't. You just can't. You can't. So now as Lion, you're actually in a pretty rough spot because. Like, hello, Palumbo. So you coming in? Yeah. Um. What are you going to do after that? I think if you have a court game as Lion, you might play it for the Venerable Saurian, but it's like it's not even good. Oh, Master of the Spear. We might see the Taiga going back home. Cloud, I guess, if you have one. Just Cloud bad. Yeah, you need to Cloud it. Otherwise, you lose the conflict on the province. Or if you have display, you just let that break display the Pride Brawler, and you're back in a good spot. That also does the trick. You can also Clarity, I think. Like, Clarity prevents move, right? Move and bows. No, just bows. Yeah, okay, Clarity doesn't work. Okay, he's removing a Fate from Iketa, so I guess that's a tell that he has no Cloud. He's gonna get sent back home. Um, that's bad. That's pretty bad. Actually, if you had a Shrine Maiden, you could play the Shrine Maiden into the conflicts so that the Master of the Spear send the Shrine Maiden back home rather than the Taraka, because you're the player choosing. And it would work also with an Ancient Master. So I'm a bit surprised that Phoenix didn't choose to play a conflict character. He has 6 in the deck. It's possible that he saw none. Totally possible, but it's not like super likely. So maybe he's planning to display that actually. And then you're happy with Lion playing like a lot of Fate for non-fated character. He gets a break though, so you have to be careful. Stronghold is Kurimori, so you actually okay, yeah, display of course, that makes sense. So he chose not to defend that more, so that he had more resources to pressure on attack. You dis okay, interesting. Oh yeah, he honors the Pride Bull. I guess you void Ikeda, right? No, you void the Pride Bull, sorry. Lion is first player next turn, I just void the Pride Bull. Yeah. I know you go water, and it's awkward for Lion because you're gonna no you don't bow unless you have like 2 Sentry, you don't bow the Pride Bull because ready for battle. I would say you go with both. Or maybe just one actually, because you're gonna need to defend your stronghold after that. So Tadaka political water here. Because if you go with Kudaka, you might get in trouble, so just use Tadaka instead. Okay, he uses Kudaka instead. He prefers to keep the Tadaka to defend. That makes sense, but like you would have Kudaka and Prodigy to defend. I think that would be enough. Because now Lion, all Lion has to do is defend that, and you don't break, and you go into the next turn. Well, you're happy as Phoenix to go into the next turn. I mean, look at the boards. But still, I think going with Tadaka, you can really threaten. Actually, you can get the break with Kudaka if you use a storm. That's totally fine. But then it's a storm, you don't have to break the stronghold, which might not matter too much. Lion doesn't defend that. I totally disagree with that choice. That's a tell he has ready for battle, I guess. But like, Yeah, I'm really not sure I agree with that play. Because now, what do you do as Lion? Like, you all in the stronghold and Phoenix defense with all his stuff. So we're gonna see ready for battle here. Yeah, there it is, and it's gonna get censored. Yeah, there's literally no way as Phoenix you bow the Lion Pride bowler if you don't have the censure. I know you ready the Prodigy and the Lions fucked up. Like what? That game is. I don't know what you do as Lion. Like you have a charge, but you have no characters in your provinces, and you have a Vengeful of Keeper to try to break that stronghold. That's good. And there is no Fate on Ring. Like there isn't even a point to. I guess you go to know what's there, but it's obviously Korimori, so you have the deck list. So you're just actually that conflict is literally useless. I guess you prevent a Fate being put on the ring for the next turn, which is like okay, because you're first player, but it means next turn you will have to take fire as the first player. I'm not sure you're like 100% happy about that. Because like, what are you gonna do with that firing? Yeah, Phoenix defending, getting the ring in defense. At least the sole consolation for Lion is that Kanjo has been broken turn one and isn't a thing on the table anymore. But still, Phoenix has two censures left. Yu Ujiaki as Lion is going to be a useless card. And you know down onto Iketa against like an insane Phoenix board. I mean, it's not insane in absolute measures, but it's insane in relative ones. Because like you just can't defend that with Iketa. And your first player, you're gonna have a covert to go on the stronghold, but like Phoenix will have 4 to 5 characters. As Phoenix here, you just hope not to flip more strongholds. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Extend Taraka plays everything. You don't care about the passing fate here as Phoenix. As Lion, like you're gonna have to play what? I think you have to play almost everything if you want to stand a chance. But then it's also like you don't want to hardcast that Toturi. You want to charge it. Problem is Phoenix might have a censure, and if censure gets cancelled onto the Toturi for the charge, then I think it's game over. If it's not already game over. So yeah, Lion goes for Prodigy. I think he's gonna play 2 Prodigies and maybe the Apprentice. Because if you play two, no, well, you could play the Toturi actually. You could hardcast it with 2 Fates. And then you go with him on first conflict and you have two ring triggers, but even then like those 2 ring triggers are very likely not going to save you. You have a way of the Lion though, so okay, what we could see is Lion going all in military, coveting with Iketa, doesn't matter for the trigger, you try to get that break. But then the thing is Lion just swaps to political using the Kurimori and your effect. So yeah, it's really bad for Lion here. And that Phoenix board, no, like a Storm is a +5. And he has one in the discard at least. Yeah, both layer bit 5. I think there is no other reasonable choice here. Phoenix needs to save his stronghold. Lion needs to try to win here. If Lion doesn't break, he loses. And I don't know how you break that, honestly. Dreamer on water, that's an interesting choice. Phoenix doesn't have Ninos, so he probably wants to go water with a covert with the Dreamer on the stronghold. Oh, Tadaka getting covered. Okay, I think Phoenix is going a bit quickly there. Because Tadaka might have to defend here. He's not the first player. I would have kept the covert for the next conflict. Just to see what's left on board before using it. Because now you might have to defend with the Tadaka and that covert is wasted. Unless you think Lion is going to go covert, political water, or military water with Ikehata, but I mean, as Lion, then you just choose another ring. Because like even if you charge Toturi in water, you bow Kudaka, you bow the Prodigy, but the Prodigy then stands. That's not really good. I don't think you go water as Lion here. You might go Void, and if you, but then you need to survive that turn, and that's super unlikely. Phoenix hasn't used yet a single Clarity of Purpose or Against the Waves, and he has 6th Fate. Like we literally gonna see no Phoenix character bowing. Like he's going to use them all twice during this turn. Unless all those cards are sleeping in the bottom 17, which is also possible. But that means you have other things in hands, like storms and stuff. Okay, so that's a bait. Has Phoenix here. First action is flipping that political, so Lion doesn't charge the stuff. You defend that heavily, and you flip it political. Converting Kudaka, okay. Well, why not? I guess she has some military strength, but why not converting the Prodigy then? Yeah, that's what we see. We see Tadaka going into the conflict for defense. We're going to see a clarity on Tadaka once the conflict will have been swapped political. So first action, swap conflict political for Phoenix. No, don't forget that, because you're going to, if you don't, you're going to have Totally charged. What you might actually do is just wait Totally to get charged and then flip it political and then win your conflict. And Lion is even sadder. Yeah, I think that's better actually. Just let the Lion charge, then flip afterwards. And that Toturi becomes a poor free stat political. And Lion doesn't have the charge anymore to defend when you attack if you go military. Yeah, that's much better actually. So that's 5 and 7 plus 239 and 14 strength for Phoenix. 13, okay. I don't know how to count properly. Yeah, 7 and 7. No, should be 14, right? Ah, it's political, it's not military. Okay, Phoenix swapped first action. As I said, it's fine, it's safe, but it's even better to let Toturi comes in and then you swap. Like, you let him charge and you swap afterwards. Because now he has the charge for the military conflict you could do as Phoenix. Maybe you don't care because you just go political and break the stronghold politically. That works. Like you just forbid Taraka to bow, you forbid the prodigy to bow, or you stand them with against the waves, and then you go with everyone but the adepts, and you just win that. Lion has nothing to defend, like literally nothing. He has an 8 fate, but I mean that's not going to do any difference. I think Lion has been too conservative with fating his board on the previous turn, so that everything left, and now it's complicated. I mean, he kept the Dikata, and that's all, and that's not enough. Like, I think as Lion, given that you know Phoenix has Censure here, and he has the favor, you just need to hardcast Toturi. Like, you cannot really not pay him. Especially knowing that the stronghold is Kuremori. We see 4 shame to Disono Taraka, so that's the third 4 shame. No more 4 shame for Lion. But Lion is still far from winning that political conflict. And Phoenix has Storms just in case. Thing is, now as Phoenix, you might want to go Earth next ring to be sure that Lion isn't going to play Soul Beyond Reproach into Noble Sacrifice. Actually, he could just Noble Sacrifice. Court games on Taraka, okay. Because that Lion Stronghold is like super likely Shameful Display. I think it's not even enough to survive. Like even if you sack the Taraka on the Stronghold, like you still lose the game. Because Phoenix has Storms, so I don't see you defending that Stronghold as Lion. You have a lot of conflict characters and you have 5 hit left, but like what do you do? It's like, okay, Master of the Spear, so we're gonna see one character of Phoenix going back home. Oh, Cloud hit there. Finally a Cloud. That one is good. So no character going back home for Phoenix, actually. Very honestly, what I would have done if, as Phoenix, if I had a conflict character, I had put it into the conflict, let it go back home, and that's one more character threatening to attack afterwards. See a conflict character for Lion, but that's a meager +1. Clarity on Teraka, yeah, makes sense. You might be tempted to replay it with the Stronghold. I wouldn't, um, because there is a storm on the discard, and that might matter much more than a character not going after the conflict. And yeah, you might have another clarity, or you might have against the waves in hand. And that's better to keep the one in the discard for now. Keep all possibilities on the board so that the Lion player has problems committing to break, and you can answer efficiently what's happening. So another +1 political for 2 fates. Like, okay, Lion had a lot of fate in hand, but that really feels like a desperate attack. Because, I mean, you need to be at +8 right now to win. You still lack 8 to threaten the break. And then after that, there is a storm that gives +5 for Phoenix. Like, there is no world where you win that. You're not even going to win the conflict. Like, there is literally no way you do. As Phoenix, what the only thing you have to do there is just withstand this assault, being as efficient as possible with all your resources, and then you just smash back and win the game. If you don't do a single mistake as Phoenix, you cannot lose here. It's impossible. So I'll be on reproach on Ikea, I guess. Yeah, that's +2. So it's still not enough to win the conflict. I know you're one fate left. All Phoenix has to do is passing until he loses the conflict. You actually even don't care about losing that conflict later, right? Just lose the conflict. Let him void something. All you have to prevent is the break. Oh, you can actually, yeah, you can try not to lose the conflict so that Ikea doesn't trigger. But if you have another cloud, you just cloud Ikea and you leave him win the conflict. Like, it doesn't matter too much. Two Solbian reports have been played already. There's a third one. Strength in numbers. There comes the censure. Yep. I think that's game. Lion loses there. If Taraka goes back home, it's -5. Like, you can still storm, and you're at +5 back, and it doesn't matter. I see literally no world in which Lion could have won that. Like, absolutely no world. Guess no, as Phoenix, you just smash water. Because your Dreamer will have +2. And Taraka has covered, but it doesn't matter. Just all in water political. Because there is a charge. Well, Lion doesn't even have fate, so you don't care about the charge. So you can totally go military if you prefer. And you have two attempts at breaking that, because like if you fail the first one, then you have the Prodigy to try a second time. Um, yeah, I disagree with that Earth Ring. I understand that you prefer Tedaka forbidding Lion to play something, but let's be realistic. He has no fate. Just use water to have +2. Actually, it doesn't matter. Like, use whatever ring you want, because Lion cannot do a thing here. And yeah, here is the shameful, but it's like way too late. I would say quite a one-sided game. Like we at the beginning, we had the feeling that Phoenix was slowly losing the game, but it was actually a really controlled slide where he decided carefully what he would let broke. Apart from the first break, that was like just got smashed on the first break. But then after that, yeah, after that, it's just everything Phoenix did. Every time he lost a province, it felt like he decided to. So that Lion got driven to Kurimori slowly, and in the meantime, Phoenix did hit back strongly to break opponents' provinces. Yeah, another poor kitten smashed into the ground. Well, thank you very much for watching the game and have a very nice day. Bye.